think like 219th Street and Laconia Avenue in the Bronx.
What was the house, apartment, farm, or etc. like?
So the two apartments, we always lived in apartments. The two apartments that stand out for me, one was on 825 Morrison Avenue, which is right off of the Bruckner Expressway. And when we lived at 825 Morrison Avenue, I think it was a 2-bedroom apartment. We had a terrace, and I used to love to go out on the terrace and like just play on the terrace. And we lived on the 8th floor. I don't remember a lot about that particular apartment. We moved to Co-op City when I was in the 8th grade. Well, let me take a step back. My parents, when Grandpa and my mother got divorced, we actually lived with, Uncle Raymond and I actually lived with my dad. So he kind of raised us, and we would visit my mom. And we lived in a 2-family house, and we had the bottom floor. We lived on the bottom floor, and that was on East 229th Street, between Laconia and Paulding Avenue. And it was small. Uncle Raymond and I used to share a bed. We shared a bed. And this is when I was in elementary school, and he was in elementary school / junior high school, what we call middle school now. And my dad had his own bedroom, and my dad got remarried. And so he and my stepmom were in the bedroom, and Uncle Raymond and I slept in the living room on a pull-out bed. It was a really, really small apartment. It was really, it was really, really small. And so eventually, my dad and stepmom decided to move out from 229th Street. The address was 1070 229th Street. It's still there. So then they moved to Co-op City, and then Uncle Raymond and I got our own bedroom. We didn't have bunk beds. We did not have bunk beds, but he had his own bed. I had my own bed. Nice sized living room, terrace. We lived on the 23rd floor. And our address was 140-23 Casals Place. We lived in apartment 23E, which was funny because my mom, by that time she had moved to Washington Heights, and there are these apartments right up, like you see when you come over the George Washington Bridge. She lived in the first apartment as you come from New Jersey to New York. They stick up in the skyline. You see them. Her apartment number was 23E. So anyway, so that was a nice apartment, and the great thing was right downstairs we had basketball courts. I should take you by there so you can see these places. That's what I should do. Maybe that's what we'll do in August. I'll take you by so you can see all these places I used to live. But they had basketball courts right downstairs, and so after I would come home from school, whether I was in the 8th grade or high school, once I got to Truman, do my homework, bam, downstairs on the courts, to the lights, till they turned on the garage lights, and then everybody would go home. I was still out there shooting around. People would walk by the course and be like, "Yo, Jones, yo, Butterfly, what you doing out there, man?" Just shooting my shots. Okay, let's take it.
So